Frankly, people are disappearing. Scientists are going missing. Now they're saying they're going to investigate this. The president himself is saying they're going to look into this and see if anything's going on. It's a little bit scary. I got to say, it's a little bit scary. But you guys knew that I might still show up, even though it was last minute and I've had a really rough week.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, back again, and I've got another strange one to bring to your attention. I literally can't believe this. This news has come out of nowhere. Who's familiar with David Wilcock? An expert in his field, ancient civilizations, UFO researcher. He's someone who has personally inspired me when it comes to aliens, when it comes to understanding the history of the planet. Out of nowhere, we get some shocking news that's more or less going to take us down a conspiratorial rabbit hole. Because David Wilcock, age 53, was found dead and it's been deemed as a... Not only do we have these mysterious cases with these 12 scientists that have gone missing and some found dead, I've come to realize that we've recently lost more legends in the UFO research field. Legends like Nick Pope, ex-defense minister, literally died of cancer earlier this month. You also have another legend in Eric von Daniken. I can't believe this one. I only found out this today. I've got one of his books right here, Chariots of the Gods. Literally, bad boy book. I bought this about 7 years ago. One of the reasons I bought this book is because it was written in the 1960s. So therefore, I wanted some insight, some perspective from someone who was talking about aliens back in those days. The decade my mum was born. He passed away from old age, apparently. In 2026 so far, not only are we losing legends who understand the phenomenon, we're reaching a point where it seems like they're getting us ready for something out of this world.
To begin releasing government files relating to UFOs and unexplained aerial phenomena.
Once you see this footage, once you realize that the phenomena is real, I think that the fact that the president is pushing for transparency is something that most people in the United States are very curious about. Just goes to show the differences between this administration and every single one previously.
And if that is the case, ladies and gentlemen, it would be such a shame that the people that have been helping us understand that there is something else going on out there, they're not going to be here to potentially witness it with us. These people are legends in their own right because these are people who believed from day one. Some of these guys are archaeologists, like Eric as an example. And only finding out this morning that Eric passed away only a few months ago was a shocker. But the biggest shock for most people in this community right now would be the death of David Wilcock. It makes no sense. Let's get into it. But before we find out what's actually taking place here, ladies and gentlemen, David Wilcock put this tweet out on X. My dear family, I'm not yet sure if I'm going to do the show tomorrow. I've had some very intense stuff going on this weekend. Either way, I want you to all know how much I love and appreciate you. Always remember that the Creator is within and we live in a loving universe. Now, comment down below, ladies and gentlemen, when you read that, when you listen to that, how does it make you feel? Because if I am being honest, it does sound like a goodbye message. I'm not yet sure if I'm going to do a show tomorrow, which can kind of mean I'm contemplating whether I'm going to be here or not. That sentence is followed by, I've had some very intense stuff going on this weekend. What could he be referring to? Pressure being applied from someone? Intense workload, perhaps? Based on my understanding of who David Wilcock is, he doesn't seem like a man that gives up easily. Doesn't seem like that type of man. He seems like a very determined man. Everyone who is at the forefront of this industry is extremely determined. Their whole point is about proving we're not alone. That's their point. This is a man who does believe in God. You can see it in his last paragraph. Always remember that the Creator is within and we live in a loving universe. Either way, I want you to know how much I love and appreciate you. It's kind of like saying, regardless if you see me after today, just know that I love and appreciate you. Just kind of reading a few of the comments, ladies and gentlemen. You got Trip who says, I'm effing devastated, man. It's not fair. He meant so much to me. I'm so sad and angry. You have Concrete Truth saying they got to him. You have hundreds of comments here, ladies and gentlemen, whereby people just don't believe in the narrative. Even Lady Lake says, we are so close to ships in the sky. No way he would want to miss that. And that's something that I would agree with as well. As I said earlier, David is a very determined individual. He is someone that has been pushing for full disclosure for years. Why would it get to this point where we're literally on the brink of something going bang and David takes his own life? And at the same time, not only have we lost other legends that had the same agenda and same motives as David, we've also lost a bunch of scientists that are linked to the projects that the government are officially involved in. We're talking about UFO projects, propulsion projects, various different projects that more or less tell us they were building aircrafts, they were building their own UFOs. They've been doing this for years, we know this. Robert Lazar explained this from the 1980s. This guy wasn't lying.
You're telling me that David Wilcock, a prominent UFO researcher, an author of very specific books, might I mention, and a disclosure advocate, reportedly himself yesterday, which was April 20th in Colorado, and nobody finds this to be suspicious. We're talking about not only a prolific researcher, but also a lecturer, a filmmaker, even a New York Times best-selling author. We're talking about the dude that not only claimed telepathic ET contact, but also somebody that served as the director of advanced technology. He promoted next-gen military fighters, exotic propulsion, also advanced aerospace concepts. Now, who does that sound like? Kind of sounds like Amy Eskridge, you know, the scientist who was only 34 years old, the scientist who was openly researching and trying to develop anti-gravity technology, the scientist that in 2022, might I mention, died from a self-inflicted gun you-know-what. Keep in mind, neither the police nor medical examiners have publicly released any details of an investigation ever taking place. Did you know that Amy Eskridge herself claimed to have co-founded the Institute of Exotic Science? Also the same woman who said this on a podcast, saying if you stick your neck out in private, they will bury you. They will burn down your house while you're sleeping in your bed, and it won't even make the news. That's why the Institute exists, she warned. However, like it says here, the Institute for Exotic Science is apparently closed since its co-founder's death, and its website is no longer accessible. We're now talking about 13 different individuals dating all the way back to 2022. This should be breaking news.
It is now being reported that another UFO researcher, David Wilcock, has passed away on April 20th, 2026 at age 53. This now makes it number 12 of the researchers and scientists who have passed away or gone missing. David Wilcock was also a New York Times best-selling author, always on the show Ancient Aliens. He also stated many times that he loved his life and planned on living. And the day before he unalived, he said this on his podcast.
Every day that I have on earth is a gift and a blessing, and I'm very grateful for that because, frankly, people are disappearing. Scientists are going missing. Now they're saying they're going to investigate this. The president himself is saying they're going to look into this and see if anything's going on. It's a little bit scary. I got to say, it's a little bit scary. But you guys knew that I might still show up, even though it was last minute and I've had a really rough week. Like, you know, that's kind of like every week. But somehow we keep on making it through all of this.
And it gets even more weird because Nick Pope, who was also on Ancient Aliens, passed away 2 weeks before David Wilcock. Also, David Wilcock's biographer, Win Free, passed 2 days before David Wilcock on April 18th. All of these researchers and scientists who are ending up not alive anymore or missing just isn't adding up. Call it a coincidence if you want, but now it's 12 in a row.
Again, at this point, I'm struggling to understand why David would have done this if he did do this. There's so much going on at the moment when it comes to, you know, this disclosure. We've even got the movie coming out, Steven Spielberg's movie, Disclosure Day. Oh man, that's going to be interesting. That's going to give us everything we need to know. That's why they make the movie. Yeah, don't get it twisted. Steven Spielberg is the go-to guy when it comes to revealing the truth to the world through a movie.
Wow, my mind is blown. It is not just David Wilcock that has just passed away, but other experts and colleagues in his field have also passed away. And they were all associated or featured in the show Ancient Aliens on the History Channel. And now it's caused plasma physicist John Brandenburger. He posted this AI image and this message that says, "Dear friends, I have been told I am in danger as an anti-gravity and Mars investigator. But I tell you now that all humanity is now in danger. But so are the cover-up helpers. I urge a blanket amnesty for all in the cover-up who end it. Take this amnesty while you still can." Now, this is considered a conspiracy theory. It is what Dr. John Brandenburger is alleging. But we also have a scientist who was working on anti-gravity. Anti-gravity, isn't that what Amy Eskridge, one of the scientists who allegedly took her own life, was working on? You remember Amy, she's one of the scientists who have mysteriously disappeared or passed away. Yes, she was working on anti-gravity. And if you watch the videos I've posted of her, she was claiming that she was about to allegedly expose it to the public via her Institute of Exotic Science in Huntsville. So if Dr. John Brandenburger has also been researching anti-gravity and Mars, I think it's legitimate for him to feel scared. So the rabbit hole took me down to this. All these men are linked to the show Ancient Aliens on the History Channel. and they have all allegedly passed away. And you guys know that I
All of
have
them. Oh, that's crazy, man. Even Philip Copen's Ancient Aliens is definitely one of my favorite series. I could literally binge watch Ancient Aliens all day, bro. I swear to you. Like, never get tired, never get bored. I could sit there and binge watch it all day. There's another report saying a man in a mental health crisis outside a residence and holding a weapon used it on himself within minutes of contact. He was pronounced dead at the scene. We need more clarification. We need an investigation into this death. We need to look at the autopsy. We need everything. We need to find out so much more because this just doesn't sit right with us.
This is what's being reported. Someone called 911 on April 20th and deputies responded. They're saying that this 911 caller appeared to be going through a mental health crisis. Deputies arrived at about 11:02 a.m. and within minutes, they say David took his own life with a weapon and no one else was found at the property. The Boulder County coroner identified the remains as David Wilcock on April 22nd. Wilcock had been a major player in UFO and disclosure spaces for years. He had a large online following. He appeared regularly on Ancient Aliens. He wrote best-selling books, including The Synchronicity Key and The Source Field Investigations. And a lot of people are now looking into his old social media posts like this one from December 2022. Now, I do want to add that even though he posted this 3.5 years ago, things can change with people. I know I usually wear a tinfoil hat, but I don't think we can point to this post as saying there's something funny going on here. But I will also say that we can look at the 11 people I just told you about who are either missing or no longer alive that were also in research, UFO, anti-gravity fields and say maybe there's something funny going on here. Just a couple of days before his passing, David posted on social media again saying that he had some very intense stuff going on. He wasn't sure if he was going to do a show, and he thanked his supporters for their love and care. I am still preparing to do a part 2 on those researchers and scientists, but I wanted to stop and make a video about David because I just found out about this last night, and I really do want to hear your thoughts. And most importantly, no matter the circumstances, rest in peace to David Wilcock.
What a sad day, ladies and gentlemen. Hearing that devastating news that David Wilcock has taking his own life, it literally ruined my attitude this morning. I was thinking this doesn't make any sense. Hopefully we'll get more information in regards to what's actually taking place here, ladies and gentlemen, so we can make a thorough determination on what we think. Because the narrative, I don't know, man, it's just not really sticking at the moment. No one's really buying it. All your thoughts, all your comments. I need as many comments in that comment section as possible. I need to know exactly what you guys are thinking. Be sure to hit the like button, subscribe, turn your notification bells on. We will be back. I look forward to seeing you guys on the next one.